So, Chris, are we going to review this film that we have clearly just come back from seeing?
Oh yeah, I was so come back from seeing this.
Yeah.
I've seen it so much. Like I see it. What am I talking about? Yeah, we didn't. We didn't just come back from seeing it, but
We didn't. I mean, how many days ago did we see this?
it was like Monday.
Oh, yeah. So it was like 4 days ago.
Yes.
Yeah. Has your thoughts on it evolved since then?
Not really. But I don't know. But it's confusing what to think about this movie with me. At least with me.
Well, tell you what. Why don't we begin with the good aspects of it, and then hopefully the rest of it will. Like the rest of it, like I don't know, maybe like 5 minutes of this film was good, but the next 2 hours and 55 minutes afterwards were just they were a real slog. Which is of course one of my issues with this film, is that it's 3 fucking hours long.
Yeah, it really shows it in certain scenes. Just certain scenes just kind of go on, just like it being like a detective work movie, which is kind of cool. Seeing a Batman film, it's about.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see what they were trying to do with, like, they were trying to do the noir thing. They were trying to make it like, I mean, the way that they had they had like the shadows, like the way that it was shot and everything, the architecture that they were using, the like the occasional narration.
There's a noir thing.
Yeah, it's very noir stuff. I'm quite impressed that they didn't cave to using like atmospheric jazz or something, because if you actually watch like a lot of old noir flicks, they don't have that.
Yeah,
They tend to use general kind of orchestral scores, but that sort of music has been kind of associated with the noir genre anyway. But with and like you were saying, it's like it's detective work. He's meant to be the world's greatest detective. It's weird that you don't really see that many of the movies deal with the actual detective work part to any extent, and I can definitely appreciate that. The trouble is, I think it's 3 fucking hours long, and a lot of this film is intricate plotting, or as I like to call it, convoluted.
It's convoluted. It's also basically 2 plots at the same time, when you think about it. Two conflicts at the same time. Because we got Batman going up against the mob, which has him going up against like Carmen Falcone. We'll never stop using the Long Halloween, and it'll never be as good as it. That's
I know. This is them trying to do the Long Halloween.
Because the Dark Knight did it.
The Dark Knight kind of loosely took.
Yeah, as I say, like using parts of it.
They used they were very much. It was very much the Harvey Dent stuff. Like his origin. Although they kind of in the Dark Knight they kind of subvert the actual origin of Harvey Dent a little bit, where that stupid fucking scene in the Dark Knight when Harvey Dent is cross-examining some dickhead in court, and the guy pulls out a gun on him, and then Harvey just grabs the gun and punches him, and it's like, this is the dumbest fucking shit. But in the Long Halloween, he gets acid thrown in his face in the courtroom.
Yeah.
So they kind of subvert that in the Dark Knight, albeit in a really retarded way. Like the Dark Knight used the Long Halloween a fair bit. Very loose.
Well, Batman Begins. It wasn't Falcone in the first one.
Yes, he was. He was in the first one. I think he was actually. I remember. I think it wasn't it Falcone that was strapped to that spotlight, that searchlight, and when it was shining up in the air, of course, you see that it's like a proto-bat signal.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened in Begins.
It's been a while.
I think it was Falcone that was on there. But in the I always didn't, for some reason, I always didn't like the way that Katie Holmes said Falcone. Like, first of all, I don't like Falcone. I don't know why. I just say Falcone. But it's just the way that she said it. I don't know why. It's like, Falcone. Falcone. I can't. It's just one of those things that when I think of that film, I think of that, and for some reason I want to strangle a kitten. But yeah. So, but yeah, they're kind of doing that long Halloween thing where there's a sort of mob plot, and there's and then there's like stuff to do with the general rogues gallery. But in this, it's like you have the mob, you have the Penguin, Catwoman is there, and it's the Riddler who is the main one of the rogues gallery. And like, what did they do with him?
He's basically like a fucking, I don't know. He's like some like psycho villain from some other world. Because it's barely the Riddler to me.
Yeah.
Because he does riddle things, but he's just a guy who goes like, I've got him here, and
yeah, he's an autist. He's hysteric.
More than that.
He goes, he's just like, and all that, and they do the thing with like he's it's meant to be really creepy. He's doing like the YouTube video thing, and well, that's what the Joker did in Dark Knight, and it's one of the most iconic bits in the Dark Knight when he's got the guy tied to the chair and he's going like, "Look at me!"
Look at me!
It's and that worked. That worked better. This, it's like the Riddler is just this sort of pathetic, internet man-child, which again is the
that's a hell.
Again, with the fucking man-children. It's always like, I mean, you saw this in like The Last Jedi, where the the fucking villains, like Kylo Ren and was it Domhnall Gleeson's character, and they're just constantly like, yeah, or Kylo Ren is just like having tantrums and like throwing people into the ceiling or destroying consoles and things like that, and it's because and there was the Birds of Prey as well, with Ewan McGregor's Black Mask.
I know,
Roman Sionis, and it's it's this obsession with like this is the narrative.
Yeah.
It's the narrative, and of course we'll probably talk about this a bit more when we get towards like the end of the film. But so like, sorry. I'd say the one of the main things that I appreciate about this film, and I think you would agree, is that they didn't go over the fucking origin story again.
It's true. That's true.
At least like the Nolan movies, they kind of had to. It's Nolan, isn't it? I got fucking reprimanded by a friend of mine recently for saying Nolan.
Who said this?
There was just a mate of mine. And I would say I saw it said Nolan. No, like, who's Nolan? I was like, it's Nolan. Well, thanks. You just wasted seconds of your life telling me that.
Taking time states.
Okay, so it's Nolan. The Nolan films, they were obviously meant to be a sort of we're bringing Batman back to the cinema. So of course we're going to do the origin story again. But we can see that like with the reboots of Spider-Man and everything, you have the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. We see the origin story. Andrew Garfield or whatever, was it Mark Webb Spider-Man? Mark Webb. They do the origin story again, but then with like the more recent Spider-Man movies, they haven't done the origin story because at least they kind of...
It's like there's three iconic origin stories. That's Batman, Spider-Man, and Superman. And anyone else is just like, what?
Yeah,
where did he come from?
Yeah, the general public has no idea. But
but
people generally know. It's like everyone knows Darth Vader's Luke Skywalker's father. Like, Batman, his parents were killed.
Yeah. And
then he decided to be the Batman and beat up criminals.
Mm-hmm.
Beat up poor people. He beats up poor people and mentally ill people. That's what Batman does according to the comic book resources. and various other retards on the internet, apparently including D. Amanda Hagen. But that's another rant. But I do appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that they didn't go over the origin story again, and this is like a standalone Batman story.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. It's nice to see that, and that was one of the things that I was kind of looking forward to, because I thought, hey, this looks like it might be a standalone story. Everyone knows who Batman is now, so why don't we just have like a story that's can stand on its own, and we don't have to have all this lore shit. As I was saying, like before, the fight scenes are really good.
Very good, yeah.
I like the architecture, except for the bit right at the end when they're at the necropolis in Glasgow. Because I could tell it was fucking Glasgow.
Yeah, no, you can just pick up the...
all you have to do, you don't even have to see like the necropolis. You just had to see them when they were on the motorcycles riding away. You just have to look at the roads. You just look at the roads and you can tell that's Scotland. Even the roads here have depression-fueled heroin overdoses.
See, that only makes me want, like, this film let me wanting a Batman, but it's not set in Gotham, it's set in Glasgow. It's Glasgow.
It's Glasgow.
The Batman of Glasgow.
It's the Batman. The Batman of Glasgow.
I feel like...
In case you didn't know, fuck Glasgow. But then fuck Aberdeen as well, we're here. Hi Aberdeen! No, that was one of my issues as well, because I did find out that some of it was filmed in Glasgow, and as everyone knows, I cannot endorse a product made in Scotland. Not even Iron Brew, and I drink Iron Brew.
Why you can't endorse it?
I cannot endorse it. I get phone calls every day. I get phone calls from people that are just like, hey Glenn, we'd really like you to endorse this product. I was like, I don't know, where was it made? Scotland.
I remember like seeing you in that room filled with phones, all going ding 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 ding, very like old-fashioned phone, ding ding, and then that camera focuses in your face, going. That was your life.
I remember that.
That is your life.
I remember the moment when the camera zoomed in on me. I don't know who's filming me. But yeah, I'm
waking up all those old phones. It was just
yeah, like they're all dial phones.
Yeah, but it's just like the hand.
I also had the flashing red one from the Batman '60s TV series. That's true. That's the only one I answer.
Yeah.
All the rest of them look dull looking. It's like, oh, this one's flashes. Yeah. So.
But yeah, but like the overall look of the film is pretty good. It's very, very atmospheric, and God has left the city. It's just kind of hell.
I mean, that's kind of what I there was that moment where you're seeing the sort of like this sort of city centre with all the screens and everything. And you can tell they were watching Blade Runner. Just like no one was. I almost said Nolan again. Just like
Fine, I don't care.
Just like no one was when he was doing Batman Begins. I think apparently he was like showing some of the crew Blade Runner and going, "This is how we're going to do Gotham," which he then completely reneged on in the next.
I know
movie.
it's
because the next movie is just Chicago.
It's Chicago.
That's it. But here they're maintaining the sort of comic booky, just godless neo-noir kind of setting with the the big screens and like Blade Runner type sort of things, only more gothic.
Yeah.
Again, something to appreciate about this film, because it's been a while since anyone's done that with Batman. Done the sort of Bruce Timm, or vaguely Tim Burton sort of thing about it, and that's kind of how I see Batman for the most part. Kind of, just sort of gothic neo-noir, but this they kind of do the gothic neo-noir thing, but they kind of go too far trying to do a sort of David Fincher thing about it.
It's
like proper. It's like Seven, or it's like Zodiac, and it's proper noir. It's like like neo-noir. It's like just everything is horrible, humorless. like everything's just grey and rainy and whatnot, and look, again, that's fine for that, but look, again,
it would help if the film was shorter. Let's be fair.
First of all, it would help if the film was shorter. If the film was much shorter than it was, then this probably wouldn't be as big an issue. But secondly, I think you said as well, like the Penguin is really the only one who's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's like he's he's from like a different film where it's just like
he is.
It's just like there's some like vague cute, like well, not even vague. He's just pretty funny. He's like, "Whoa, easy there, sweetheart." Just like all this kind of.
Yeah, he's a bit over the top.
I smile when he first appeared. He looks fucking horrible.
And you wouldn't think it was funny. And you wouldn't think it was Colin Farrell.
No, it's a bizarre choice when you think about it.
I know, a very strange choice, but a good one.
It's fun,
because he's good in it.
It's fun
when he's in it.
Yeah, when he's in it, but
and he is the most humorous character, and I'm not saying that he needs to be like fucking, Burgess Meredith and. Like,
did you catch a little rap? There's a one part, there's a scene where like all him and his men are like around carrying umbrellas and just like off in the foreground, the background. Yeah, just them all. I just thought that was.
I didn't notice that actually.
Yeah,
I was probably too busy like clawing my own eyes out. No, it's never that bad. But yeah, like he is like he's a totally different movie. The rest of the movie is like this sort of, this David Fincher-esque sort of intricately plotted neo-noir. But then here comes the Penguin.
What are you doing? Yeah, but just like there's.
What are you doing? He's this sort of over-the-top fucking mafia boss. This mafioso. He's like he's in the fucking Sopranos or something. He's like, where's the gabagool? Where? It does come off that way.
Yeah, I mean he's probably my favourite of the scenes of the film, which I'll probably never forget for a while because it's just like it's something to do with his money or something, and then the Penguin has to get up and leave, and then just like at the end like the alley, just like you see like the car starting his engine, and it's the Batmobile. It's an early version of the Batmobile because this is supposed to be like when his second year as Batman apparently. And just him revving up the engine, you see it from behind, and that's when the music starts. It's pretty great, and the music they use for that is awesome.
I will say this film in terms of its music continues the trend from the Dark Knight or the Dark Knight trilogy of having 2-note themes. So like in the Hans Zimmer one, it's like this it's like da 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 da.
It's pretty.
I mean, it's ominous.
Yeah, it's quite ominous.
It's ominous. It's just kind of like. I mean, we've gone from da 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 da.
You can't do
that. We've gone from that to da 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 da. Da da.
Yeah, it's a good da 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 theme
though. Again, very ominous, very kind of it's like, but like, come on, like
a bit more.
We need a bit more. Like, I mean, they just turn like what we were saying. We just turn the Riddler into bad internet man is bad, and he's basically like this mentally ill incel.
When he should just be like a weirdly intelligent person. You could have him be an incel, but make him like intelligent.
Yeah,
so make him actually be frightened. It's like stop making him.
I mean, he's obviously intelligent to pull off what he's doing.
But yeah, he's got to have the appearance of like intelligent.
Yeah, but he doesn't. But he's not like when you finally meet him like as a person, like in that interrogation scene, or rather in the sort of interrogation room, he's just kind of going like, oh, I'm crazy. I'm crazy, Batman. It's like, yeah, so is everyone the fuck else, apparently. Like, they can't, like, these people can't, like, the people that make these movies nowadays just can't seem to write the characters properly. Like, I mean, I had that problem with the No Time to Die. Like, and to be honest, with Spectre as well, but with Spectre in particular, actually, because they try to turn like Blofeld into the Joker or something, where he's at the end and he's got the he's got the setup with it, what's her fucking face is going to get blown up, but Bond has to try and save her. God, and then in No Time to Die, they make him Hannibal Lecter, and they can't write Blofeld, and these guys can't write the Riddler apparently. You know, the Riddler is this sort of. I mean, the Riddler's had a few different backstories, to be fair. I think. I remember in Batman Forever, he was like wasn't he like a scientist that worked for Wayne Enterprises or something?
I've never watched that film all the way through.
No. You ever watched Forever all the way through?
I've never actually watched Batman Robin. But I just felt like I never needed to. But
I remember Forever not being that bad. You know, it wasn't that, sort of big a leap from the previous films, although it was obviously more brighter and more colourful. But I would say, even Jim Carrey was better in terms of Riddler or something, because he's kind of, he was going like, oh, I'm crazy and everything, but he came off as sort of smarmy intelligent, where he's
that's the thing. He got smug.
Yes, I am a great intellect. That's what he's like. It was in the Arkham games. That's how he is. He's like, let us see whose intellect is greater.
Yeah, he talks to you over what's he talk to you over or something?
Yeah, like he talks to you over like your radio, because he hacks your radio and you can, hear him talking and everything. And he's always like, he's just really arrogant and smarmy and going yes, I am a great intellect. This guy, again, he's just like, Sperg.
Yeah.
He's like.
Sorry, you said Spurg. I just imagine like that as like the new James Bond, or evil organization.
Spurg. They can't look you in the eye. It's like yes, Mr. Bond. Our plan is to drive a dinosaur train.
It's just 4chan, like a segment of 4chan that's become like an evil organization.
I was thinking like just full blown autistic, just sort of like, I like dinosaurs.
I like dinosaurs and trains.
And trains and anime, an anime, just an anime dinosaur train is gonna crash into the zoo or something. And that's the plot that Sperg has dealt. Like Bond is going.
Just imagine just like I just have it like set in like 1950s or like 60s or whatever, and just like have M pacing about. Yes, Bond, we have a new enemy that we must face. It's just like it's like old antiquated that, and then it just spurred.
Imagine being the guy who has to write the theme song for that film.
Don't look me in
Spurg,
the eye.
I am Spurg. If my food touches on the plate, that's not good, mate. I don't know. So what were we even talking about?
Spurg. Yeah, you're talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about the Riddler because he's a Sperg. He's just he's like the whole thing is like I was inspired by you, Batman. What was it? He said it was just like it was like a little bit of focused violence. And something else and a little bit of focused violence, that was what Batman inspired him to do. And I think they're trying to do that thing where it's like, oh, Batman is actually kind of responsible for the villains that show up because they're always trying to get to him and everything. But the animated series dealt with this way better.
Oh yeah.
With that one episode.
The trial one.
Yeah. The one with the trial where I think it's like a district attorney or something like that is going like, oh yeah, Batman's a menace. You realise that he's the one that creates a lot of these villains.
We do something about women or something, because she's a woman who does. It's a woman, isn't it?
It's always a Karen, isn't it? It's a fucking Karen. But then she ends up having to defend him in this kangaroo court of rogues in Arkham Asylum. And then eventually she's like, no, wait a second, no, you guys are all responsible for your own actions, and so she learns something at the end. This film it's kind of trying to do that, but really all that happens is that Batman's really mopey.
Yes, we haven't brought up Robert Pattinson as...
Yeah.
I'd say in my first... Yeah, because it's always the same thing with like almost every Batman film or whatever. It's like, he makes a good Batman, but he's not a very good Bruce Wayne. I think that's what I think in this one. Well, like, Ben Affleck wasn't that great at Batman. He's okay, but he made a pretty decent Bruce Wayne.
He was an okay Bruce Wayne. But you see, that's the thing. Like, when Ben Affleck was announced as being Batman, I remember people raging about it, and I'm like, you know what, look, are you sure this is what you want to rage about? Are you sure this is going to be the problem with these movies? And of course, well, no, there were bigger problems. Batman, Ben Affleck was okay.
Yeah.
You know, like, he was far from the worst thing about those movies. Pattinson is in it throughout the duration. It all follows him.
Yeah.
You know, it's very much from his perspective. You don't really see things from the Riddler's perspective for the most part or anything like that. So it is all following Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, he kind of plays them both the same. He's
somewhat.
He's kind of the same. He's just kind of...
I think it just fits better when he's Batman, personally.
I guess it does.
A bit better.
Because, I mean, obviously, he's kind of got to be kind of, you know, sort of quietly threatening and everything, and he's got to be like, you know, he's got to have that sort of low whisper of a voice, you know, so that, you know, he comes off kind of mysterious and everything. But he's like that when he's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, the problem is you see him as Bruce Wayne. You got his hair.
Yeah, like he's just
God.
He looks so fucking. He looks
emo.
like fucking Phil Oakey from the Human League.
He looks very emo.
It looks like he's gonna. It looks like he's. I think I said it's like he looks like he's, you know, auditioning to be the lead singer of a 30 Seconds to Mars tribute band. Which strangely enough was the lead vocalist of that band was Jared Leto.
Okay.
Who played the Joker.
We don't talk about that. He became a cult leader. Did you know?
Jared Leto.
Yeah. It's like during lockdown he became a cult leader on an island. It was just like only women.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. He's like it's basically just like this big con that happened on an island.
I wonder if my friend Ashy has joined that cult.
There's like images of him. He's like him walking about, like looking like Jesus.
Well, you know what? Everybody hated like his Joker, but I guess he's had the last laugh. You know, I guess.
Fucking weird. Just I don't have to read that again. What the hell happened?
Yeah, we're gonna find out about that, but
but
he's like that. He's just sort of just mopey throughout the film, and really look, my favourite Batman is always going to be Kevin Conroy in animated series, because I thought he's a great Bruce Wayne and a good Batman as well.
That's because they know it's not explicitly made by Hollywood. You know, it's just like cartoon.
But Bruce Wayne himself in that cartoon is
honestly, almost all the cartoons of Batman have pretty much gotten Batman right. It's just the movies because they're made by fucking idiots.
Yeah.
I want to do it this way.
Because I guess with the cartoons, like you can obviously do things in the cartoons that wouldn't necessarily fly in live action and whatnot. But like with Bruce Wayne in the animated series, like he's, you know, Bruce Wayne, he's like this, you know, he's a bit of a playboy, you know, as it's suggested in certain parts, but he's also an upstanding citizen. He attends charity functions. He gets involved with the politics of Gotham City and everything, and he you know, he like melds in with the general sort of high society very well. I don't think anyone would look at Bruce Wayne, you know, as done by Kevin Conroy and Bruce Timm, as being like, you know, someone would look at him and go, oh, he's definitely Batman. Like, he's got some problems. He's definitely Batman. They would look at Robert Pattinson, possibly, maybe not too much in a physical sense, but they would look at him and they would maybe think, it's possible, you know, because he's just constantly, he's just alright, he's just moping all the time.
It's a problem. There's not a lot of affability with a lot of the characters.
Yeah.
You know, it's all very just very serious. Even Alfred. Even Alfred.
Yeah, and I quite like Andy Serkis.
I like Andy Serkis a lot as an actor, but I don't think he... It's less that he didn't give a good performance, it's think he was written well.
I mean, he's barely in it as well.
Yeah.
You know? And that's something that reminds me, is the fucking story for this film, right? Like we were saying before, it's like we're watching two different movies. We've got the sort of the almost David Fincher-esque kind of, you know, intricate noir plotline with the mobsters and everything. And it's all to do with this thing called, I think it's the Gotham Renewal Project. And what it was a fund set aside by Thomas Wayne. And see, you're already bored. You're already fucking bored. It's this fund that Thomas Wayne put aside for the Gotham government, which was his first mistake, because you never give money to the government. You know, so he puts aside this money. Fucking Thomas Wayne gets killed. And it's suggested later on that it might have had something to do with something else instead of it being like a random killing, which it's usually portrayed as. You know, other than maybe the Tim Burton films. Well, it kind of was still a random killing in the Tim Burton films, though, wasn't it? Yeah. Even though it turned out to be Jack Napier that did it, which is not what happens. Yeah. You know, but at least with that, it was still kind of a random killing.
Yeah.
It was still like, oh, they're robbing them, you know. So Thomas Wayne dies, and so what happens is we end up with this fund that's just absolutely, it's unguarded. There's no oversight, and so it just gets raided by all these corrupt motherfuckers, like these, like Falcone, and was it Sal Maroni, and of course the Penguin, and the people in the police department, politicians, including basically the mayor, who is the one that gets murdered at the start of this film. Mm-hmm. That's the idea, and the Riddler is doing this whole fucking sort of terrorist activism thing, where it's like no more lies and everything, and again, it doesn't really suit the Riddler, does it?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the Riddler is like, I don't see the Riddler as being someone who is into like local politics.
Yeah.
He's into proving he is the biggest brain of all time.
Yes, biggest brain.
You know, that's what he's into.
Instead, we get like boomer politics at the start. We're just like the like the two. It's just most like fucking like. It's just like this like pompous guy going like, you did a thing or something, but then there's stunning and brave black mayor.
Yes, stunning and brave black
I can't believe how stunning and brave she was.
Oh, she was very stunning and brave. Like you say, we got the boomer politics where we've got like the two people debating at a podium on a stage, and they're going like, she wants to gut our something crappy government program that I have to defend, because it's a Ponzi scheme and I'm making money off of it. Like that's how it. Like, oh god, we're getting into local politics now, are we?
You don't have to.
And the Riddler is getting into this. That's the reason, because the Riddler. It turns out that the Riddler was this orphan, and. The whole Gotham Renewal Project thing was supposed to, I guess, make sure there aren't any orphans anymore. I don't know, or look after the orphans somehow.
It's very just vague stock politic things. Like, we need to renewal.
Yeah, yes, this money, this big fucking sack of money was going to make Gotham better. This was going to make Gotham better. Gotham, the cursed fucking city. Look, pumping money into shit in, let's look at LA or Chicago in real life, or New York City in real life, or London for that matter. Does pumping money into those non-cursed cities do anything? No, it doesn't. So why would you do it? Again, it's boomer fucking, shit-lib politics, where it's like, we're gonna that money that was gonna help everything, wasn't it? But no, Thomas Wayne dies. All these corrupt people raid it, and the Riddler is still an orphan in a shitty, what sounds like a shitty like a fucking 19th century orphanage. What he was describing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that was fucking.
Like, look, I know it's Gotham City, but I don't think that the orphanage is going to be that bad. Like, because he's lying there talking about like, oh, the rats nibbled off my fingers and everything. Like what is this? Like, did these people honestly think, like, did the people writing this film think that like orphanages are like this nowadays? I don't know. Like, and the reason I kind of think that, like, that they might actually think some of this bullshit is that, well, again, because of the narrative that they're propping up, the sort of...
It does have its kind of woke elements.
It's got its woke elements.
I wouldn't say it destroys the movie, but it...
I mean, it doesn't... I mean, it's not even... I mean, again, it's not even the first thing we've talked about, really, for the most part. So, yeah, so they get the Riddler wrong. The Riddler is not a political guy. You know, like, the Riddler is like... I am the mastermind. I'm going to prove that I am smarter than the Batman.
See, I always liked our friend Nick's idea for the Nolan movies.
Oh no!
Fuck, I did it. The Nolan movies. Well, I said both. Fuck it. But it's he had the idea for like Riddler, and like you'd have Robin Williams like playing like an elderly guy who's just like really bored and does like crossword puzzles, and he just decides like to just trick the police or something, just do something.
To sort of prove that he can do it.
Like, just because he's bored.
Because he's bored and he wants to prove that he can do it. That would be a cool Riddler, actually.
It'd
be a very good Riddler, like a sort of, it's sort of a Walter White sort of thing, where he's like, he's not mental. He's just like, maybe like I guess he's got that sort of downtrodden thing where like nobody, everyone underestimates him.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
his grandparents, his grandchildren are like have left or whatever.
Yeah, like it's kind of actually it kind of reminds me of it's the character that Robert Carlyle plays in the Cracker episode to Be a Somebody. In that story, he plays a guy who's like I think he's a survivor of the Hillsborough disaster, and he is like this working class guy, but he's really smart and like he's knowledgeable, but people underestimate him just because he's working class, and so like you could kind of have a Riddler character a bit like that, like what you were talking about with Robin Williams being a sort of and of course Robin Williams being a comedian and a comedic actor, as well as a genuinely good actor.
He's one of the best like comedians turned actor.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He's just he's just so good.
Like I remember him in Insomnia, which is the one he was in was a remake of a Norwegian film, but it was a Chris Nolan film.
Yeah, is he in Memento as well? I can't remember that.
I don't think he was in Memento.
Yeah, but there's the Nolan connection.
But yeah, like that would be pretty good, and he would be able to do the more over the top aspects of the Riddler, where he's a bit more kind of comedic and everything, and that would be good. Again, like sort of people underestimate him, and he's out to prove like, yes, I am smarter than everyone else. I'm smart. I'm going to fool the authorities. I'm going to fool the Batman, and it's like that would be cool. In this, it's like it's Occupy Riddler. It's Occupy Riddler, like it really
boomer cringe.
Boomer cringe, yeah, it's boomer cringe politics. Fucking, I mean, Matt Reeves, the guy that directed this film, was like 55.
Oh boy.
In fact, he was the guy who directed Cloverfield, I think.
Yes, that's it.
I didn't like Cloverfield.
No, me neither. I'd say I like this better than Cloverfield.
Well, at least Cloverfield was like 80 minutes.
Well, yeah, they knew how to make movies back then.
Oh yeah, they did.
Short.
Short. I'm not even talking like 80 minutes. Like 2 hours. 2 hours is fine.
2 hours is a thing.
It's 2 hours. You can do that. Like I'm not here to see a Kurosawa film. Okay, like I'm not watching your Kurosawa length Batman movie. Well, I did, but damn you, Hollywood. Yeah. So there's a lot of that. Now Catwoman.
Yeah, I think she's genuinely good in it, but
she's fine.
Definitely a Batman Year One thing going for her.
Oh yeah, definitely, because I think in the Year One comic she's sort of more swarthy skinned, isn't she? In that comic, she's also a bit more kind of sort of down to earth in the gutter, because I think she's a prostitute or something.
Yeah,
so of course it's Frank Miller. It's going to be a prostitute. So she's a prostitute, and she's living with this other girl.
Yeah.
So they're definitely doing a Year One type thing with it, although she's not necessarily a prostitute in this. She's
the first time done this in a live action movie, at least. So.
Yeah. So it's not that's not the worst portrayal of Selina Kyle that I've seen in regards to the actual, like, the setup for her and everything. Her herself.
I think she's fine.
I've got nothing against her in it. It's just like she's nothing memorable. I mean, like at least with Michelle Pfeiffer, like I remember, like she played it up.
Obviously
she played it up, but then of course that's that style of movie that we're talking about. You got like fucking hell here, and her origin was funny with the cats and everything. It was like, what? But the cats made her. The cats brought her back to life, and okay. Like, I mean, what are the other origin stories for Catwoman in the comics? I'm not actually sure about.
I don't know really. I just think she just is.
Well, look, at the very least, okay, they did give her like a woke line in the film, but at the very least they didn't do what they did. I remember them doing in the comics that one time where she was like interrogating some Gotham politician about universal health care.
That's just going. Yeah, that's not this one. It's kind of like, but at least it's like aimed at a bunch of like despicable gangsters, I guess.
Yeah, she's saying like white privileged assholes. Where like you could, I mean, one could argue if they were being charitable that she was saying she wasn't saying white privileged. She was saying white privileged, as in they are white and privileged, not that they have white privilege.
Obviously,
but it's that no.
Probably not.
No, that's
you
probably
can
not.
see in the line of the film. Yeah, okay, perfect.
It's so like it's not even throwaway. It's right there. Like it's just she's just like we'll get away from these white privileged assholes, and it's like who you're talking to, right? You just said earlier that he must have grown up rich because of the way that he acts or something, and now you're saying about those white privileged assholes. It's like you're talking to one of those white privileged assholes by your like. What is this? Like, so I mean that is the woke aspect there. That it's like all the problems in Gotham are caused by white men, rich white men specifically. Mm-hmm. But the person who's going to save Gotham, is a member of the fucking Squad, member of like AOC or Imran Omar. What was her name? Fucking Rashida Tlaib or something like that. There's a bunch, all those big, they're Simpsons characters, because remember they were in that fucking, that god awful fucking.
What's that?
Oh yeah, it's them. That's it's the Squad. The fucking communists. Yeah, but yeah, this is what they're doing. Like, and you see this a fair amount. Actually, you know what the latest of this is now? Fucking. What's her name? Stacey Abrams, I think. Have you seen this?
No.
She's like a politician. I can't remember.
Can we get into this?
No, because it's relevant because it's what this film is doing as well. I'm pretty certain it's her. Yeah, she's like a Georgia state representative. Voting rights activist, and she has recently ended up in Star Trek Discovery, and she is the president of Earth. Stunning and brave black woman is president of Earth. This is becoming this is a thing. This is a cliche.
Yeah. We do have black men as well. Yeah, they've always kind of done. I remember like Doctor Who did it, and it's like it's America. It's the other cliche. The other cliche I find nowadays is the puffy haired woke
black girl. Like you see, I remember seeing her in the Sabrina Netflix show.
Yes.
We saw her in that god awful Black Christmas.
Yes.
Version from 2019.
Oh boy, that was a woke.
That was definitely a woke film.
A woke apocalypse.
From beginning to end, that was just woke apocalypse, a woke-acost.
Yeah.
Hollow woke. I don't know. So yeah, they do she eventually ends up being the mayor-elect, and what happens is you have we didn't really finish talking about Catwoman, did we? Because there's a whole subplot about her roommate, which at the start kind of seems like they're meant to be girlfriends, like they're meant to be lesbians. I thought, they made Catwoman a lesbian or something. They kind of make it out like that way because she calls her baby over the phone, or maybe she's bisexual or something. But they never really go fully into that. Maybe for the Chinese market, But,
still doing that. Still doing that. I thought I was done.
Yeah, like they're giving the alphabet people a little bit of representation, but like not so much that it's gonna fall flat in Singapore, China, fucking UAE or whatever, So that is kind of like I don't care. And again, like that plot could be fine, like with her trying to find her friend and then finding that she's dead and then getting revenge for it. Like that could be fine if the film wasn't fucking 3 hours long and it wasn't stretching it out to the limit. They make her Carmine Falcone's illegitimate daughter.
Yes. Which Falcone played by John Turturro.
John Turturro, yeah, which is fine. He's fine with it.
Surprisingly, creepy and sinister.
He's kind of he's kind of a lanky dude.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, but still, just like the power value, like
But he exudes confidence for the role and everything, and he's fine. It's just kind of weird that they decide to make Catwoman his illegitimate daughter. I don't know what the hell that's all about. I don't know. Like I've never really seen much in the way of an origin story for Catwoman.
No, me neither.
So I guess it's one of those things where you can take creative license for it, but so that really kind of okay, fine. But then, like I was talking about we've got the fucking progressive mayor-elect who's going to save Gotham City with.
Honestly, she ended up just like pissing me. Well, maybe not pissing me off, but just make my eyes roll every time.
Just like, oh my god, because she's so stunning and brave. Because she, right, what happens is the Riddler, he gets caught. He gets caught at like a diner, and I like the setting, like the diner that he was in. It looked like fucking Edward Hopper's Nighthawks.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And that's very noir. That's good. I like that. Again, there's things to like about this film. So they catch him in this sort of Nighthawks-esque kind of cafe, and he ends up talking to Batman, and he reveals his plan. And he goes fucking berserk because Batman's like, no, you're fucking mental. Why did you do this? And he's like, no, this is what I was supposed to be. Again, very Riddler. So he's like, I planted bombs around the Gotham seawall. It's like, the seawall is not something like they really bring up earlier in the film, is it? It's not really the Chekhov's gun. It's like, oh, the Gotham seawall. God, the last thing you want in a place like Gotham is a fucking seawall that is keeping the water out. Like, has nobody thought of blowing up the seawall before? So he blows up the seawall, it floods Gotham, and this is happening while a rally is happening, fucking the mayor-elect's little rally in this stadium is happening. And then the bad internet people show up. And this is where I laugh my ass off.
Most cringy moment in the movie. It's just oh my god.
Strong, independent, black female politician, good. White internet people.
Rioters from Capitol Hill.
No, yeah.
That was the inspiration apparently, and that's just ridiculous.
To be fair, I didn't. When I read about it. He didn't say it was the inspiration. He said that it was just about as cringy. That he was like, but Matt Reeves was reticent about having that in the movie because he felt it was so similar to the January 6th Capitol Hill attack.
Look, the only thing that should be the inspiration for is a fucking comedy movie.
Really, yeah.
It's just the most stupid fight. You can really see, they're fighting for liberty. Really, look, it doesn't matter. It's just fucking.
It's a bunch of boomers. Do you ever seeing that? Do you ever seeing that? Do you ever seeing that? There was this picture. It's just this old lady, and she's got these like big glasses, and she's just like, and she's like hunched over, and she's got a little American flag. Just this adorable old lady.
Yeah.
And she's like, hey, liberty. She hasn't even she hasn't knocked anything over or anything. You see the fucking ropes, you know, the rope barricades that they have in these places where you got to line up. They didn't even knock those over. They got into the place and they just kind of, orderly line. Didn't knock over anything or anything like that. You know, there were some people outside that smashed windows and whatnot, and one person got shot. Oh, it was actually one of the boomer cons that stormed the Capitol. Shit, it wasn't like a strong black female politician or anything. But no, that was like, oh my god, this is cringe. But he decided to keep it in the movie anyway, so that I could cringe my nuts off in the cinema like everyone else. And so it turns out that the Riddler has a massive following. Well, massive for someone like him anyway. Has a big following on the internet. Which website, I don't know.
It's like some Discord kind of thing.
Yeah, it looks like some fucking hole in the corner of the internet because because that's what happens when you like censor these kinds of people from the main sort of ones. They end up going into like little dark holes and and you end up having to download Tor in order to find them. Like going on the dark web, shit like that. God. So like they, and so you don't know what the hell they're doing, and so it's a total shock when they eventually do shoot up a synagogue or some shit like that. And this is the DeadEye Reviews for your very nuanced political commentary and social commentary. Hey, look, my commentary is way better than Nick's.
Oh god.
Imagine if you were here right now. You must be Yeah, so you've got these guys, and they're all dressed up like the Riddler with his fucking... What is that?
Yeah, you're really talking about that. The fucking gimp.
This sort of radiation gimp suit.
That's another thing. It just gets wrong. What is that? I mean, it's fine for something else.
Well, we're trying to. It's like we're trying to make it kind of more down to earth and a bit more realistic. Even though we've got the penguin there, like, yeah, I'm a penguin. I got big jowls. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've got to say, like the car chase is probably the best part of the film because. This is like fucking like just get the fucking road!
I got the Batman! I got him! And then the Batmobile just flies through the flames and he's like, shit! Yeah,
it's a great shot like of him coming out, like the Batman coming out of the Batmobile like upside down. It's just that is. Yeah,
that's a good shot. I like that. It's really good.
That's in the trailer.
It's in the trailer, as it should be, because that's a good selling point. But yeah, so like, so that was good. But so the fucking gang of Riddler incels show up, and they're in the rafters in the stadium, and of course the place is being flooded. Jim Gordon, played by Jeffrey Wright, I believe, who's fine. He's fine. Although he does.
I'll say something on the other side of the fence, as far as politics. I heard like Ben Shapiro's review of it. It said he saw there was like a defund the police kind of message in it, and really. There's like some like big like corruption thing going on like for a while in the film, but then it's like at the end there's like they just.
Well, they're saying that like the cops were like that. There are cops that are corrupt and like fucking when they arrest Falcone.
But that's just
he's saying like, "Oh, the cops are in my pocket," but then of course there's more cops that are not in.
That's the thing. It's a Gotham thing. It's just like a Batman thing.
Yeah, that's always been a Batman thing, particularly Gotham, where like the cops are in the pockets of the criminals, or vice versa.
Criticizes some right-wing dissent against it. From the ultimate young boomer, Ben Shapiro.
Yeah, as much as I agree with him on certain things, like Ben Shapiro is one of those. He's like Charlie Kirk. It's like Turning Point US and Turning Point UK. It's just all very like really shitty boomer memes. Like for like hey liberals.
I've heard Ben Shapiro's better when he just talks about politics rather than the entertainment, because he's just the other anti-SGW channel. He just like
it's like they don't they don't get a lot of these things. They just kind of look. They're trying to find something, and here I didn't need to find it. It was there. Like I could just see it. I mean, the defund the police shit and everything. Whatever, like there's nothing. They don't say defund the police or anything.
You got that police chief guy who was like,
they're just saying,
"What are you doing? What are you doing?"
Yeah, that guy.
He's English. He's English.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? There's some accent. Who's that guy? Like was he not the DA? Remember that guy, the pathetic guy. The other guy, like the guy's like, "What the fuck's going on?"
Yeah, that guy. He's a freak. But then he kind of ends up being on his side later on, where he's helping him like investigate the Joker's. I mean, not the Joker, the Riddler's apartment. We'll get to that. So these guys are up in the rafters, and Jim Gordon's saying something Real, who's the stunning and brave,
Bel Real.
Bel Real, yeah.
Remember that.
And because for real change.
Oh fuck.
That was what it was. That was the slogan for real change.
Every political campaign is cringy.
They are left wing.
I support change. And it's just like, yay, we've fallen for it again. I support blah de blah because I'm a blank fucking idiot.
How much of your money's going to go to Israel for the 1,000th time?
Well, I say I stand with Unicron. Unicron.
I stand with Unicron.
Well, hey, he's just trying to survive.
I'll stand with Unicron if he eats.
We're all just trying to survive, and Unicron's just eating planets to survive. Did he eat planets? I forget. I
think he eats planets. Yeah. Look, I'll stand with Unicron if he eats our planet. So Jim Gordon goes up to fucking Bel Real, and he's like, we gotta get you someplace safe. Again, everyone just fucking whisper croaks in this film.
Oh yeah.
Actually, the scene with the bomb necklace, that was okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That wasn't bad, although it's obviously inspired by. Apparently that actually happened. Like I think it was like a pizza delivery guy got kidnapped, and they tried to get him to rob a bank with a fucking explosive collar around his neck. I'd have to look up the story, but yeah, like they do that in the film, and that scene's okay.
Yeah,
you can really tell, the guy who's got the collar in his neck, he does a good performance. Yeah, he's the pathetic DA guy that you were talking about, and he does a good performance. Like he genuinely is terrified. He looks terrified, and it is a good scene. But yeah, so Jim Gordon's like, "Oh, we need to get you out of here," and Real's like, "No, I'm not leaving the people behind." And it's because she's so good. She's just so holy. She's
Can we just appreciate this character just appears for probably 5 minutes of footage overall?
Yeah, she's barely in it. She's barely a thing in the film, but it's like she's just totally tacked on.
She becomes like Superman, the way she goes like, "No, the people must need. This is the problem of our city. Someone of them."
This is the problem of our city. Nobody does anything, and it's like, well, what are you gonna do? I guess you could get in a boat and start helping people out of the flood and whatnot. I guess that would be nice, but it would be good for a photo op, But what are you gonna do? Just get the fuck out there. it's like, they've got to portray her as being so good, and she's for actual change, and Batman's going to vote for her. You know,
there's that slight nod of like communist thing where it's saying like, there's Thomas and Martha Wayne used to be such good philanthropists, and we noticed you haven't really done any of that recently.
Oh yeah, she says that. She says like when they're going to the mayor's funeral, and she goes up to Bruce Wayne, and I like that guy at the funeral, that one like sort of working schlub at the funeral. He's like, you know, all these rich fucks. It's like, you know what, you should just like bring them all down. You know what I mean? He's talking to Bruce Wayne. As if he wouldn't know who Bruce Wayne is. I mean, I know Bruce Wayne's kind of reclusive in this movie, but his face would be quite well known. And he's just like, you know what I mean? And he's ragging on rich people. He looks at this guy, even if he doesn't know he's Bruce Wayne. Look at him. Look at the way he's dressed. Like, why would you? It's so stupid. Like that. This guy just randomly having a rant in the middle of this funeral. All these rich. Obviously, it doesn't say rich fucks. It does say fuck once. This film. I think the commissioner, who's not Gordon in this film. Gordon is he's not the commissioner yet.
Yeah. Nobody's anything yet.
The really hoarse-voiced commissioner guy. He's like fucking. I think it's him that's like who drops the F-bomb in this.
It's like holy shit.
Yeah, I think it's him. But so there was one F-bomb in this film. You know, newsflash. But then she gets.
He's apparently an English guy, by the way.
Ah.
So that explains the weirdness of the accent. I don't know.
I like the accent. It was fun. What's all this? Why do we got the Batman walking around a crime scene? Why do we got the? Bel Real gets shot by one of the Riddler incel people. Yeah, I laughed. Yeah,
it was almost set up for like a comedy thing.
Because
I'm gonna do everything, bang! Oh no!
Because she's a cardboard cutout progressive politician, and so why should I care about her? Again, she's barely in the film. So they shoot her, and Batman goes up into the rafters and starts beating up all the incel people. And again, I'm just sitting there laughing my ass off because I was like, it's the internet people. The internet people are coming. It's that narrative. It's the narrative like politicians good or certain politicians good. People on the internet bad. You know, they're all bad people. You know, like. The resistance is actually the corporate media and the politicians. That's the resistance, not the people who are expressing opinions on the internet or anything like that. It's an internet people bad, and so that's just something that confused me. Catwoman. I think it's Catwoman shows up to help Batman at one point because he's hanging off the rafter. And then one of the guys is like attacking Catwoman, and Batman, he's all like, "Fuck!" I mean, he's been hit pretty bad, and because I think he got hit with a shotgun blast, and he's like, "Fuck!" But then, and of course she's getting strangled by this Riddler incel, and he just pulls out this stuff, this like. An EpiPen filled with this fucking stuff, and he just goes boom, and he goes ape shit. He's like, ah! And just starts fucking pummeling this guy, and like we never see this before in the film. This like we never get like we never get a Q moment like where Andy Serkis like goes like, yes, I've gotten hold of this adrenaline based stuff. You got to make sure that you don't put too much into you or whatever, because you'll absolutely go full chimpanzee on people's faces if you do. Then later on, it's like, oh yes, he has that. Boom. It's my bat fucking chimp out juice. My bat chimp out spray. Like Adam West Batman made more sense because at least you knew he had this fucking belt of wonders.
Yeah, at least they explained that. That's the fucking Adam West show.
I know. He had this
dumb stuff in California.
Yeah, he just has this belt of wonders, or in the movie he had in the helicopter, it's like, yo, bring down the shark repellent bat spray.
I want to see like this movie universe's take on King Tut. Would that be something?
I think I'm vaguely aware of King Tut.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, he's like, ah. He's just like he just wants to turn like Gotham into like a modern day Cairo. That's it.
He wants to turn Gotham into Egypt.
Yeah.
Wait. So you want to make it less shitty? Yeah, what was it? So yeah, he has this and he just goes apeshit. I'm like, where did this fucking shit come from? But then they beat up the bad internet people, and then Batman decides that he has to be hope for the city, and all that, but he's still a mopey prick. And then him and Catwoman say their goodbyes at the Glasgow necropolis, and then they drive away from each other. Now, is there anything else? Because
that Nirvana song.
Oh, that fucking Nirvana song!
I don't know.
What was that?
I don't know, man.
Again, it was just this...
It's not my speed.
Again, it's the dreariness. You know, like I'm happy with a film being sort of, dark and noir and whatnot. But for it to be dreary, it's dreary.
Oh,
that's what it is. It's not that it's dark, it's that it's dreary and it's miserable. For the most part. And when the Penguin shows up, it's like, hey, I'm the Penguin, and it's like, hey, it's Batman.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing, Like I mean, at least with with the Nolan films, they were kind of trying to make it more like fucking Heat or something, and so you can understand why they're not going to have some of the more over-the-top aspects and things like that. But with this, you can see that they're trying to get that aesthetic. But they're making it so dreary, and we've got fucking...
Yeah. I think the problem with the Nolan films is that eventually, like after you've had your like showstopper of the Joker one, the entire like mythos of Batman kind of starts to buckle as you try to make it real. Because like Robin, like he's just a cop guy, and it's just like it's just like Catwoman doesn't really fit into it.
Yeah, I mean, Catwoman, it's not that. Like, I mean, you can make her somewhat down to earth. I mean, she's basically she's a cat burglar. She's a master thief. That's what she's meant to be. Although she doesn't really do an awful lot of thieving.
No.
She does one bit in this film. She there's the bit where she sneaks into the mayor's house after the mayor's killed to open up his safe, and that's like the closest thing she does to being a master thief until a bit later on when she steals that big bag full of money. Which did we ever see again? Did we ever see her with the money again?
I have no idea.
I mean, she leaves Gotham, as any right-minded person would.
She leaves Glasgow like any people.
Yeah, she leaves Glasgow. Like any right-minded person would. I'm going to Glasgow next month.
They've been shooting a lot of movies in Glasgow, like a lot of comic movies. This is a bizarre development.
I know.
It just like the Flash is being filmed there. There's a Batgirl movie. What else? Indiana Jones 5. Just.
What?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Probably one part.
Why Glasgow? I mean, I can understand with the necropolis in this film.
Well, no, to be fair, it's because they do dress up the city like it's New York. It's like a grid system.
Well, they do that a lot in Canada. With I think they film in Vancouver or Hamilton.
Yeah.
A lot because it kind of can look like New York, and it's of course cheaper to film there than it is to film in actual New York.
Yeah.
I guess that I can understand them doing it in Glasgow. I remember although I shared that meme. Remember, it's like a guy smiling, and it's like he's got the Scottish flag faded over his face, and it's like the Batman is filmed in Glasgow, and then the next picture is him because it's like they wanted Gotham to look like a shithole. Yeah. But to be fair, you could film in quite a lot of cities in Scotland, and you would have got on the same effect. But specifically, they obviously wanted the necropolis, which again I can understand. So yeah, this was, in my opinion, not very good. Again, there are things about it that I like. The the architecture, the style of the city. I like the penguin. I like the fight scenes. I don't mind the way Pattinson looks in the Batsuit.
Yeah.
I don't mind him there, but I do mind him especially as Bruce Wayne, because he's just mopey throughout the whole thing. I get the whole thing is like, oh, he's losing hope in Gotham, and he's starting to wonder whether what he's doing is worth it. But then at the end of the film, he decides, no, I have to be the hope for Gotham and whatnot. Like, I don't think we really need this character arc anymore. Like, again, we could just have like we just have a movie where it's Batman's doing this thing.
By the way, what about a certain face that Riddler meets in prison?
Oh, yeah. I don't know who it is they got to play the Joker.
Yeah. It's yeah. I'm just kind of like sick of like what the Joker's become now, because it's just like we do it with Heath Ledger. It's fresh. It's just like society is sick. It's just like it's just like kind
of sick. I'm gonna prove it.
Yeah, just like but that's all we've been really doing, because you got like Suicide Squad 1. Got like the Joker movie, which is a good movie, but I don't know. I just don't like it like prolonging up.
Well, it's yeah.
Clown, he commits crimes.
Well, yeah. You see that's the thing. He's
I'm trying to make a social message. I'm sick of the social message.
Well, to be fair, on the Joker film, they did do that quite well. They made the mistake of trying to tie it in too much with the actual Batman universe. With the you had the scene where Bruce Wayne's parents get killed in the Joker. But they using the Joker as a means to put across an okay social message.
It's all right.
It didn't seem partisan at all. And the guy who directed it, Todd Phillips, I think, he did the Hangover movies. You can tell that he's got a lot of disdain for the established sort of woke thing, because he even said that you can't really make a comedy film anymore because people get offended because of all this woke stuff and whatnot, which is one of the reasons why a lot of the woke scolds fucking hated Joker, and they're trying to make out like, oh, it's glorifying these sort of incel types who this misogynistic incel types and whatnot. It's like, well, no, Arthur Fleck in that movie, and you'll notice Arthur Fleck, it's not the name of the guy who is the Joker. No. To me, it's entirely separate. But he's not meant to be aspirational. It's meant to be kind of like, here's some of the issues that we can see in our own reality, seen through the eyes of this particular character. And no, you don't want to be this guy. No. We've got to be careful. We've got to think about these kinds of people, and what's happening to them, because if we don't care about them, then this is what will happen. And it's like, okay, cool. That was a fine enough message.
Yeah, it's good.
Nothing overly partisan.
No,
but they do this. They're still kind of doing this whole, and it became a meme. It's like, we live in a society. It became a meme, and because it does speak to people. But we're still doing this. We're still doing this kind of understated.
If anything, again, I'm more disappointed they actually just chose the Joker again, but because he's the most overused comic villain in history.
Well, he's he's kind of here. They barely show him.
Yeah.
He's sitting.
Well, this is basically like
because it's the mythology of the character at this point. It's like the Joker is almost like this this mythological being. Like it's the Joker doesn't do much, but he's we know what he's done, and he's there and everything, but we still have this sort of understated Joker, But as you say, it's like he's a clown who commits crime.
We saw that.
Can we just have...
Honestly, I'm begging for just like a Tim Burton style looking Batman again.
I remember, you see, Batman Returns is one of my favourites. I like Batman Returns. I like it better than the first Batman movie.
Probably is funner.
It's a lot more fun. I think the first Batman movie has problems. Like you've got initially they're following that male reporter character, but then they just drop him, like he's barely there. And it's also kind of sparse as a movie, in my opinion. But it's a good movie. I
like it. Fine.
I like it.
It's nothing I love or anything.
They also completely, it's like the idea that the Joker was the one that murdered Bruce Wayne's parents is kind of what, although I always liked the theory surrounding that, which was that the Joker didn't actually kill Batman's parents; he just projects that onto all his prey, which is kind of like, maybe.
I like Jack Nicholson.
Batman Returns. It's that bit like where Batman's fighting Catwoman, and he punches her, and she's like, "How could you? I'm a woman," and he's like, "I'm sorry," and then she like takes him, those movies had a sense of humor. They were dark, and you had like the gothic architecture and like the darkness of the Batman universe, but it had a good, almost absurd sense of humor at times. Like I love Danny DeVito. It's like, "Hello, I'm Fred's hand," or the bit where he bites the dude's nose, and just grotesque. It's just he's really grotesque. That's what you want, in my opinion. And I think the Arkham games, at least the first two, did a very good job of that. They made them. They were all very grotesque, and they were a rogues gallery. That's what they were. It's like they were. I mean, there was the darkness of it and everything, but there was a sense of humor and there was a sense of fun. Here, there just isn't that.
No.
They've got the darkness, but they've brought it into. They've made it gloomy. They've made it dreary, and it's kind of. I end up just kind of like, I'm not exhausted from how like the adrenaline or anything. I'm just kind of exhausted from like just like going through all that with fucking Nirvana playing in the background. Ugh. Yeah. Like, who the fuck?
This is a movie in the 70s, be like John Lennon. It's that kind of overrated dead artist. But I don't know how John Lennon would figure into Batman, but there you go.
Yeah, just look at John Lennon and tell me he didn't deserve to be shot in the face.
It's already
there was that. I remember I shared that meme. It was like, inside you there are two Doges. One hates John Lennon. The other one hates John Lennon. Fuck John Lennon. Yeah. So that's pretty much that.
Yeah.
We went on for a fair amount of time, but then it was 3 hours.
Yeah. We gave our word.
Yeah. So, I don't know, I guess we kind of agree for the most part. You probably see a bit more value in it than I do.
Maybe. I don't know, I don't know.
I'm happy to see that, like, the idea of them doing a sort of standalone Batman movie type thing where it's like, it doesn't have to be, like, some overarching thing like they're doing with Marvel or the other DC movies or whatever. It can be like, oh, here's a Batman story, and it's it's just that, like, you could have mega cut it down. You could have, you could have like made it less about Batman and just made it like he's being a detective. He's trying to track down the Riddler, and he's figuring out this conspiracy and whatnot. But no, they had to drag it out and be like, oh no, I totally forgot, right?
So we're dragging it out.
I know, I'm dragging it out now. The whole thing about Thomas Wayne supposedly getting a reporter killed, which again, that part confused me because I was like, wait a second, is the reporter meant to be the Riddler? Like he got like disfigured or something like that because he got like attacked or like an assassin went after him or he got his life destroyed but no, it was a reporter who got killed by Carmine Falcone because this guy was like taking photos of Martha Wayne in a mental institution because apparently she had like problems in that regard, and so Thomas Wayne went to Falcone, supposedly according to Falcone, to get the guy whacked. And so Carmine Falcone was like, yeah, sorry, well, you know, that's what your dad did and everything. And, of course, you know, Bruce Wayne's like, oh my God, my father was a murderer. You know, and he has this fucking identity crisis because that's the reason he became Batman. A fucking scene later, probably the scene directly after that, he's in hospital where Alfred is because Alfred gets taken by a bomb that the Riddler sends to Bruce Wayne, and Bruce Wayne's like, you didn't tell. Why didn't you tell me about my dad killing this guy? And Alfred's like, well, no. He wanted to do it. He went to Falcone because he wanted to protect your mother. He didn't think he was going to kill him, and when he found out that he did kill him, he threatened to go with the police. He was going to go with the police, but then he was killed. And there's the suggestion that he was perhaps killed because of that. But even he says that's just him speculating. So like a scene after we've established that plot point, it's negated.
It's fucking weird. I don't know.
It's just completely negated. Like a scene afterwards. It's not like it's drawn out. Like say Alfred is in a coma in the hospital for a while, and for a portion of the film, Bruce Wayne is under the impression that his father had someone killed. You know, where you could say that maybe that could be something interesting, but no, it's just immediately it's changes, it's negated. It's like, oh, okay, then my father wasn't a murderer. All right. This film's story sucked.
It's not great. It's
yeah. Oh well.
Oh well.
So that was the Batman.
This is a Batman.
Yeah, and this review is almost as long as the film itself. I think. How long is it? How long have we been doing this for? Holy shit! Have we been doing this for an hour and 21 minutes?
Oh,
fuck me! Okay, yeah, this is too long now. So we'd probably better end this now.
You better end it.
Okay. I mean, oh, I'm the guy who runs through. Yeah. All right, it's my channel. All right. Yo, I was waiting for Nick to come out and like, tune in next time.
Wearing a bowler hat.
Wearing a bowler hat.
Question mark. Pasted on it, but it's.
Tell you what, fucking Silas from Hollyoaks would have made a better Riddler.
Oh god, yeah, he does.
Do you remember that? Yeah.
Yes. No. He's got like a clock. He's like a clock.
He's got a tick-tock. He's got a little fucking question mark on a spring on top.
Last time I saw like of that, just like we just explain. There's like a villain that Hollyoaks, the fucking dreadful soap opera on Channel 4, and they just decided to have like a villain, like this villainous grandpa or something in it for some reason.
He's the guy from Drop the Dead Donkey. He's the guy who was like, was it Cedric Diggory's dad?
Yeah. The guy goes, my boy!
It's my boy! It's him, yeah. And he's like this just mopey old dude who becomes a cackling serial killer. He would be a good Batman villain.
He'd be better.
Yeah. He would be really good Batman.
He'd be our elderly Riddler.
Yeah.
But
that's
him.
Yeah. He's the guy, like, he's got something to prove, that sort of thing, yeah.
Yeah.
So
but last time I saw it, it was just like for some reason like he'd come back. I never saw him in the show, but it was just like he had like a bunch of dolls that asked people questions or something. It was like, fucking what?
That's a Batman villain.
No,
right there. There you go. You didn't need to fuck the Riddler. You needed to like get that guy. I can't remember his name, unfortunately, the actor. You need to get that guy and have him be. Like, just like, oh yeah, I'm the doll master. I am the plant man, and he's got like loads of plants. Oh wait, that's poison ivy.
Isn't that a lot of? She's only had one movie. She's only ever had one film.
Yeah. Yeah, actually.
If anyone is...
But she's one of the more kind of far-fetched ones, isn't she? Because she's like,
and we love realism now.
Oh yeah, we love like realistic Batman.
Again.
Fuck's sakes. We just get like, I mean, God, at this point, like, bring back George Clooney as Batman. I'll take it. I'll take it.
We're just like excited the fact that like he's not the part that made that film goofy.
I know. Bring back Joel Schumacher
from the dead.
Oh, he's dead, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh well. Oh well. Anyways, later.
Bye.
Bye.